Hello, everyone on YouTube. Might be listening. Please like and subscribe. We're going to read some poetry for about a half hour here. I do this every Wednesday at 6 Pacific. I like to start with a little body mind centering, which I do by rubbing my hands till they get a little warm. I'm putting them right over my eyes. Yeah, do that a couple more times. All right. Yeah. Let's see. I'll read a little bit from my new book. This is actually like a little story more than a poem. Maybe I guess it could be called a prose poem. Called The Vineyard. Having come of age, I leave my parents' home in search of my fortune in life. Traveling some distance, I come to a large vineyard. This seems like a good place to start my new life. I ask the owner for a job. He looks me up and down, then resumes tying up some vines. I ask him again, and then yet again. He says, "Very well, but first take this single grape plant, nurture it, and when it has produced fruit, come back and I will give you a job." I continue traveling, but being a headstrong young man, I soon toss away the grapevine. To me, what the man asked seemed an unnecessary bother. I come to a town and soon apprentice to a store owner. After some years, I start my own store, and after that, many others. In short, I become quite wealthy. One day, riding my fine steed out in the country, I come to the same vineyard I first came to after leaving home. Brenda's here. Hey, Brenda. Nice to see you. I just started a little story, so I'm going to start over again since you just came in. I don't know if you're able to talk here, but I'm going to start over again here. This is like a little short story I wrote. The Vineyard. Having come of age, I leave my parents' home in search of my fortune in life. Traveling some distance, I come to a large vineyard. This seems like a good place to start my new life. I ask the owner for a job. He looks me up and down, then resumes tying up some vines. I ask him again, and then yet again. He says, "Very well, but first take this single grape plant, nurture it, and when it has produced fruit, come back and I'll give you a job." I continue traveling, but being a headstrong young man, I soon toss away the grapevine. To me, what the man asked seemed an unnecessary bother. I come to a town and soon apprentice to a store owner. After some years, I start my own store, and after that, many others. In short, I become quite wealthy. One day, riding my fine steed out in the country, I come to that same vineyard I first came to after leaving home. Remembering the impudence of the owner wanting me to start with a single plant, I mean to show him what I had become. I find him tying up vines as before and say, "Sir, you do not remember me, but you are wrong in not hiring me. Now I am wealthy, and I wish to buy your vineyard." He says it's not for sale and continues tying up vines. I say, "I will give you twice the value of your vineyard." Again he refuses. Enraged, I tell him he is a fool. I turn and leave when he asks me what I did with that plant he gave me. I tell him I threw it away. He says that's too bad. You had a chance to find real riches. Many years pass. I marry and have children of my own. My wife becomes cold to me, and my children are spoiled and do nothing but spend my money. They show no initiative to create their own wealth. I am unhappy, even with my money. More and more, I find myself thinking of the vineyard owner and wondering what he meant by real riches. I take a carriage out to see him. He is tying up vines as in each other time. Tell me what you meant by real riches, I ask him. He looks me up and down, just like that first time. Without saying anything, he hands me a single grape plant. I take the plant, and this time plant it in my garden. I water it and am careful to keep it free of weeds. A year passes, then 2, and finally in year 3 I get a small bunch of grapes. When they are purple and soft, I taste one. It is the most delicious thing I've ever eaten. I go visit the vineyard owner. As always, he is tying up vines, even though he is also old now and could surely hire someone to do this task. I tell him I have tasted the fruits of my labor and how that one taste of that grape was more fulfilling than having all my riches. Yes, that is how it is, says the vineyard owner. You see, the bounty of the vineyard is actually God, but you must come to that first taste before you are allowed to know that. Come, old friend, now that you know the taste of the real grape, I will show you the next step, how to make wine for body and soul.
That's nice.
Yeah, thanks. Hey, like that. Well, let's see. Oh, it's you want to read the one you wrote to Karen?
Yeah, sure.
I think he sent me another one too, but we could let's do the Karen one. Oh, Brenda says it's a nice story. Thank you, Brenda. Karen, this is by Glenda Reed. Karen, please don't take her. It's just too soon. She still has rain showers and creek wading to do. There's still sunsets and sunrises and foggy mornings to breathe. She still has rose petals to adorn her hair. She still has laughter to fill her air. Please don't take her. She still has time to laugh and to weep. She's still a part of all that's been promised to keep. When she wakes up, I want her to see all the sweet joy she brings to me. I want her to smile, walk away from her fear, take away the worry that pulls at her there. Please don't take her. Instead, give her strength and a vow you can keep to carry her faithfully through all that's been wrought, and send her forth laughing that she's tumbled through, beyond the breakers of challenges fought. Then bring her here in triumphant joy, because you didn't take her. That's beautiful.
Thank you.
Is she okay, or she's still struggling?
Yes, she's she's not doing well.
Well, yeah. I'm sorry.
Very worried about her.
Oh, yeah, it's too bad. Oh well, yeah, I have a friend who's in hospice now. He's quite old. He's lived a long life.
Karen's not even as old as I am.
Well, mm, mm.
She has a lot to live for.
Oh yeah. Yeah, well, prayers to her. Do you want me to read beginning or save that for next time?
You can read it now.
Okay. This is Beginning by Glenda Reed. Gentle breath of rain on my face wakens my soul from icy slumber, murmurs to me a forgotten touch, lingers o'er my hesitant desire. This sweet ecstasy caresses my mind, drenches my senses with soft serenity, cascading sensations that beckon to me, sensual pleasure in the heat of your skin, memories withered now drink in this mist, slowly rousing, flooding my soul with vibrant laughter, with gentle tears, with whispered need and discarded fears. The dusty corner where my soul used to stay has quietly dimmed and faded away, and peace and peace remains to surround my mind and carry me past the painful times into the morning of crimsoned release, touching a fire I thought had ceased. I drown in the warmth of awakening delight and embrace for the last time the sad, tattered night. Lovely as usual. Lovely wording.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Okay. Okay. Just one, I guess. All right. Well, it's time for reading a few other poems. Here's one by Tomas Transtromer. Stromer, who was Swedish, I believe. One of my people. A winter night. The storm puts its mouth to the house and blows to get a tone. I toss and turn, my closed eyes reading the storm's text. The child's eyes grow wide in the dark, and the storm howls for him. Both love the swinging lamps. Both are halfway toward speech. The storm has the hands and wings of his child. Far away travelers run for cover. The house feels its own constellation of nails, holding the walls together. The night is calm in our rooms, where the echoes of the footsteps rest, like sunken leaves in a pond. But the night outside is wild. A darker storm stands over the world. It puts its mouth to our soul and blows to get a tone. We are afraid the storm will blow us empty. That's quite a line. Storm will blow us empty. I can never come up with great lines like that.
When I was a teenager, oxymorons was my thing. I like to do two different words that mean the opposite of each other. Put that in a poem. Did that a lot.
Somebody was complaining I did that in a poem the other day. I was describing an old person's face, and I said it was stretched and wrinkled. And she said, "You can't be stretched and wrinkled." And I said, "Well, sometimes."
Poetic license. That's what it's all about.
Yeah. Well, I have a new poetry friend who joined our church. He gave me a little chapbook he wrote, so I thought I'd read one of his. His name is John Rowe. So here's one of his. The Dream of Poetry. The dream is fluid. My blood runs slowly through me in comparison. Out of open mouth, butterflies and fireflies, as I look at an ever-shifting landscape. I wish for you to sit beside me, for the sensation, not the description. Then you are here without question. Why am I not amazed? You and I balance the sun and the moon, We laugh at how different we are for being the same. The wide-eyed animals can speak as we do, but we all remain silent for a time. You and I will wake up in different lands, remembering the sharing of this dream as we write it down. Here's one other by him, holding the dream up. I'm looking down at the tiger circling the trunk of a twisted tree. His orange eyes seem to rise like small suns. My eyes in the tiger's sight, warm like mountain stones. My body is a fragile wing waving in the wind. I am held up between the ribs of the tree, held in by low clouds. While I sleep, my mind holds the dream up until the clouds drift apart, and I fall into the cold teeth of morning. Suddenly awake, tangled in my sheets, I hear my heart beat over me. I hear my heart beat over me. I like that line, I fall into the cold teeth of the morning. Okay. Let's see what else I have. Oh, I have a Robert Frost. Good old Robert Frost. The most of it. He thought he kept the universe alone. For all the voice and answer he could wake, was but the mocking echo of his own. From some tree-hidden cliff across the lake, some morning from the boulder-broken beach, he would cry out on life that what it wants is not its own love, back in copy speech, but counter love, original response. And nothing ever came of what he cried, unless it was the embodiment of that crashed in the cliff's talus on the other side, and then in the far distant water splashed, but after a time allowed it to swim, instead of proving human when it neared, and someone else additional to him. As a great buck it powerfully appeared, pushing the crumpled water up ahead, and landed pouring like a waterfall, and stumbled through the rocks with horny tread, and forced the underbrush, and that was all. It's funny, I've heard Robert Bly do an imitation of Robert Frost, and so I was starting to, to do that same cadence. Here's a little one by Anna Sweer, who's a Polish lady. The Sea and the Man. You will not tame the sea either by humility or rapture, but you can laugh in its face. Laughter was invented by those who live briefly as a burst of laughter. The eternal sea will never learn to laugh. I think it's time to clean up my desk. It's falling down. Okay.
Where's the fun in that?
Yeah. Well, I was searching for something the other day, so I turned it even more topsy-turvy than it usually is. There's a little book that Ada Limon edited. It's a lot of poets I don't know, but probably they're younger poets. This poet is named Ashley M. Jones. It's a she. Actually, she. Lullaby for the Grieving at the Sipsey River. Make small steps in this wild place. There are signs of life everywhere. Sharp spaces, too. The slip of a rain-glazed rock against my searching feet. Small steps, like prayers, each one a hope exhaled into the trees. Please let me enter. Please let me leave whole. There are too the tiny sounds of faraway birds, the safety in their promise of song, the puddle forming finally after summer rain, the golden butterfly against the cave dark. Maybe there are angels here too. What else can I call the crown of light atop the leaves? What else can I call my footsteps forward? Small, small. Sure? Sure is a question. Oh, a lullaby. Yeah, I'll try one more. This man's name is Carl Phillips. An author of 16 books of poetry. Oh my gosh. This is called We Love in the Only Ways We Can. What's the point now of crying when you cried already, he said, as if he'd never thought or been told, and perhaps he hadn't. Write down something that doesn't have to matter, that still matters to you. Though I didn't know it then, those indeed were the days, random corners around one of which, on that particular day, a colony of bees, bound by instinct, swarmed low to the ground so as not to abandon the wounded queen, trying to rise, not rising from the strip of dirt where nothing had ever thrived. Really, except in clumps, the grass here and there that we used to call cowboy grass, I guess for its toughness, stubborn, almost steadfast, though that's a word I learned early, each time the hard way, not to use too easily. Not easy to read. Oh, that was it. Okay. Well, Zoom is telling me I'm running out of time. Maybe we should just go into Mary then. This is Mary Oliver. This is called Lilies. I have been thinking about living like the lilies that blow in the fields. They rise and fall in the wedge of the wind and have no shelter from the tongues of the cattle. I have no closets or cupboards and have no legs. Still, I would like to be as wonderful as that old idea. But if I were a lily, I think I would wait all day for the green face of the hummingbird to touch me. What I mean is, I forget myself, even in those feathery fields where Van Gogh preached to the poor. Of course, he wanted to save someone, most of all himself. He wasn't a lily, and wandering through the bright fields only gave him more ideas. It would take his life to solve. I think I will always be lonely in this world where the cattle graze like a black and white river, where the ravishing lilies melt without protest on their tongues, where the hummingbird, whenever there is a fuss, just rises and floats away. And maybe I'll just finish up with this one called The Swan. Across the wide waters something comes, floating, a slim and delicate ship filled with white flowers, and it moves on its miraculous muscles, as though time didn't exist, as though the bringing such gifts to the dry shore was a happiness, almost beyond bearing. And now it turns its dark eyes, it rearranges the clouds of its wings. It trails an elaborate webbed foot, the color of charcoal. Soon it will be here. Oh, what shall I do when that poppy-colored beak rests in my hand? Said Mrs. Blake of the poet. I miss my husband's company. He is so often in paradise. Of course, the path to heaven doesn't lie down in flat miles. It is in the imagination with which you perceive this world, and the gestures with which you honor it. Oh, what will I do? What will I say when those white wings touch the shore? All right, that was fun. Okay, Glenda and Brenda.
Thank you, John.
Thank you. Lovely poems. I'll see you guys next week.
Okay, bye bye.
All right, bye bye. Take care.